And that is because he just made history as one of 500 swimmers chosen to compete in the first Chicago River Swim. This is the first swim in nearly a century. It's unbelievable. It's been talked about for so long. It was supposed to happen last year, didn't really happen in its full form. 2-mile race through the heart of the city, beneath all the bridges, all the skyscrapers, right in that main drag, right? Mm-hmm. He lived to tell the tale.
Okay, so we got to get to the very bottom of this, from the beginning, right? The beginning, which when I first met you, Doctor, we were asking about, I said, did you wear goggles? Did you look under the water? You were saying the water is fine, the water was clean, just like Lake Michigan. So when you were thinking about signing up for this river swim, did any part of you hesitate before this process even got started because of the water?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
no, I love open water. I've been training I've done triathlons for many years. I train in a lake. I prefer open water swimming to a pool.
Really?
And so the quality of the river here was perfect. I mean, if you can swim in Lake Michigan, it's pretty much the same water.
Okay.
How do you know that it's perfect?
They test it. UIC tests it every day in the past couple of weeks, and it's been great. It's been technically safe to swim for 13 years. They've been trying to get this swim everything in place over the past 13 years because it's been an environmental miracle of turning the Chicago River around.
Right.
Right.
And so it was a slam dunk for me. I had no hesitation.
Okay, so what are you a doctor of?
I'm a podiatrist.
So how did you get into swimming? Is this just like a hobby of yours, or is it a passion?
Yeah, I swam in high school, and then I cycled in college, and then it was a straight into triathlon for several years after that.
Yeah.
I had some problems, back surgery and stuff, so now I'm just swimming and loving it.
Wow.
We just had a close-up on these awards that you came in, but explain, okay, top fundraiser, finisher. You, in addition to completing the swim, you had another major accomplishment. Tell us about this.
Yeah, that's really was my main focus, is the fundraising for ALS, for Northwestern Research Center. It's just an excellent cutting-edge program for ALS research, and so I was all in for the fundraising, and a lot of the swimmers did fantastic with fundraising. I was fortunate enough to end up on top with $37,000.
$37,000 raised by this gentleman right here. To put that in context, by the way, though, everybody, second place, also unbelievable, $16,000. So you were way out front. I'm going to brag on your behalf.
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah, as parents who have to do fundraisers often, how did you get such a good amount of money?
Yeah.
I did so many different things, from social media to a local diner that had ALS Day, and they wore all my race T-shirts and stuff.
No way.
And all the waitresses, and I was in a parade in my hometown, and so I had...
What's your hometown?
Valparaiso, Indiana.
Very nice, very nice.
I live in Northwest Indiana, too.
All right.
You guys are neighbors.
We're neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, so how did you get involved with ALS? Why has it touched you in your life?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. It hasn't. It didn't.
Okay.
When I started fundraising, it hadn't. However, unfortunately, several months ago, my brother was diagnosed with something very similar to ALS in terms of being incurable, progressive neurodegenerative disorder. So I've had, unfortunately, a lot of extra motivation.
Okay.
But so I've had I had over 200 individual donors, and but I also had a major sponsor, Driftwood in Union Pier, Michigan.
Oh, so they really stepped up. Thank you so much. Tell us about that organization.
Driftwood. It's a beautiful development of luxury cottages just north of New Buffalo, Michigan, in Union Pier, and they were very generous behind me, 100%.
Wow.
They made probably my biggest donation, but really I'm happier with having over 200 people donate, because it was really, I mean, have patients and everybody donate. People I don't know, people from social media, they just...
Fantastic.
Super inspiring when people just step up behind a cause.
So sweet.
Yeah.
So there were 500 of you. Obviously there was an approval process. What was that like, and how did you get in on the race?
Interesting, I didn't get in at first. I was really bummed out. Yeah, I didn't make the cut. They had thousands of applicants, and I did not make the first cut. And then they're sorting them out. A week later, I got an email, "You're in." So I was like,
wow.
Yes. So
did
I
you
almost
have to write a
didn't make
letter?
it.
How did you like put it in the application? What was that like?
Yeah, you had to document that you are proficient at open water swimming, some races in the past. I have a background in triathlon, Ironman, and some swims, like big shoulders. But yeah,
cool.
I faked my way in.
So you had to, no, not at all. You were well credentialed. Let's talk about the swim itself.
Yeah.
How did it compare to another? You've done a lot of triathlon. Open water swimming is your thing. Did it feel like an open water swim, or did it feel more like a pool environment, or was it even choppier than a standard open water swim?
All the above and completely different. Yes, I mean, I'm from Indiana, so I'm not swimming looking at skyscrapers. That was a bizarre experience. That was really unusual, but it was fun. It felt open water, for sure. For sure.
How were the nerves beforehand, too, you know?
I wanted to get in the water. I
you were
I was
ready.
sweating on the side.
It was a good day for it, right?
Yeah, it was excellent. The water temperature is 74. It was great.
Perfect. Take us through the course, where it started, where it went, and where it ended.
Right. So all the swimmers, now I did the 2 mile. There were others that did the 1 mile. I did the 2 mile. We got in right in front of Tiny Tap, right on the river walk. It was beautiful.
Where is Tiny Tap located? Like what bridge
between
intersection?
Dearborn and Clark.
Okay, so right here, right over here. Yeah.
Boom, right there. Yep. And so they sent us off in waves. I was in the first wave, so that was a little unnerving. But,
The guinea pigs.
yeah. Let's see how they do, and then we'll decide about jumping in after that. But no, it was great. I mean, I've had so many mass starts with triathlon. I was
Wave
fine.
start.
I did get, you know, I had my goggles on. Yes, I did have goggles on.
Yeah.
Within the first 10 seconds, I got kicked, which is not uncommon.
You got kicked in the face?
I got kicked in the face.
Oh,
yes.
no.
And both my goggles filled up. So,
okay.
So you had to
Fortunately-
pause for a sec.
yeah, for just a sec, because fortunately I have the experience of that happening. And so I did a quick,
Yeah.
Yep.
I was on my way.
So it went west from that entry point. How far west did it take? Oh, it went
just
east?
around towards State Street. And then there was a buoy, and you turned around. So it was 2 laps of a basically linear course that went from, forgive me, Franklin or beyond that to the point, Wolf's Point. Yeah, and so I did the 2 milers did 2 laps.
Was there a big crowd?
Huge.
And were people cheering from the bridges?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I did look up and I saw
cool.
like a packed bridge, and which was weird. It was great. Yeah, a lot of people cheering. I couldn't believe it for that early in the morning.
Oh yeah,
It was
big
packed.
turnout.
And a lot of you know, family and friends and stuff, and all the bleacher seating on the river walk was packed, and so.
When you did get the goggles back on, because I think so many people out there are just the novelty of a river swim.
Yeah.
Those of us who have grown up in Chicago, it was one of those things. Like I remember the most recent Mayor Daley famously said, "I would eat a fish out of the Chicago River," and everyone's like, "No, put your money where your mouth is, man. We wouldn't do that." But did you see anything through those goggles? And like, what would you say to people
Green.
who are
I
like
saw green.
Green? Okay, just like in the lake. I mean,
Not right after St. Patrick's Day, you know, the Green River, but it was a shade of green. It's interesting you bring up fish, because you heard about that guy that caught this giant carp, and there's a picture of him.
Oh,
and
no.
so on my social media fundraising, I duplicated it. I had this guy that looked exactly like him holding me up at an angle.
That's
saying,
great.
I'm going to be thrown back in the lake.
Hey, these are the strategies you need to get to become the top fundraiser.
sure.
You got to get real creative with your messaging.
So speaking of your swim itself, before we got started on this interview, I asked like, how did it go? And I just want to preface this with, when you're pregnant sometimes, if you stretch a certain way, your legs, your muscles lock up. And I've had this happen to me 3 times, and every time it did, tears, literal tears, hurt so bad. So I say that because you experienced some calf tightening, your muscles locked up. What was that like?
It wasn't tightening, it was a cramp. It was an all-out cramp.
That's awful. It hurt so bad.
First it was in the left calf, and then the right calf. And yeah, I had to keep going. You know, you're supposed to swim like that with your feet. Well, one of my feet were up like that, and I was kicking like that. So.
Oh, no.
But it went away. I kind of knew it would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
what would you be
yeah,
your
it's brutal.
suggestion to people if they're swimming and they might have one of those? Just kind of.
Yeah. Well, first of all, start out with not having 2 glasses of wine the day before, and hydrating better the
Celebrating.
day before, which
Yeah.
I know, and I don't know
Okay.
what happened, but that was probably it.
Okay.
How long were you in the water for 2 miles?
Just under, thank goodness, just under an hour.
Okay.
I was hoping to break an hour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Looking down the road here, there were 500 people that got in. What is your understanding of the future of this event? Because you said it was a competitive process, so would there be a chance that they could open this up to more folks?
That's a good question. They kept it limited this year, and I don't know if it was just for this year or in the future, but surely they'll have it year after year. I really think that this is going to continue and grow, and I talked to the race director. I told him, you should call this the Great Chicago River Swimmers.
I like that.
Do you think that you're going to keep up with them with where this money goes, what kind of research they're getting done behind the scenes?
Yes, I already have. But day before the race, I met with the director of the lab at Northwestern, Hande Oslindler, and she, a fantastic woman, probably the most brilliant person I've ever met. We sat and spent 2 hours talking about everything, ALS and her research and even her artwork.
Well, what stuck out to you? Well, what did she tell you that was like, wow, that's amazing?
That there are some very promising drugs in the pipeline for not just ALS, but broader for other neurodegenerative disorders like ALS and PSP, which is what my brother has, progressive supranuclear palsy, that there can be some overlap in the degenerative process that can be addressed and reversed. Hopefully.
Reversed. That would be great.
Amazing. So it's all going to absolutely great research and brilliant people. Okay, so what's next for Dr. Summer? Is this going to be a yearly tradition for you?
The couch.
The couch.
The couch.
Are you
Well
still-
deserved.
Short term, the couch, yes. Long term, no. I'd love to do it every year.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be invited back.
If people are interested, what would you tell them to say, hey, you should do it too? If they're scared,
Yeah.
if they're hesitant.
I would say, you know, train. If you do triathlons, that's kind of an easy in because it's open water swimming. But even if you're a pool swimmer and you like long distance, you know, get into a lake. It is not scary at all. It's just a matter of a quick learning curve of getting used to the water and sighting where you're at. And it's really pretty easy. I always tell people it's similar to like a runner who likes to run out on the road as opposed to on the track. I'd rather run on the road than a track. And open water swimming is like running out on the road.
As opposed
Where do you
to
swim out
pools
there?
like
because
track.
I've got triathlon friends, and there is this motif in triathlon where a lot of people get, I don't know if there's a name for it, but spooked in the open water. They're used to swimming in the pool, and it's the fact that there's nothing to hold on to.
Disoriented.
And overwhelming. It's not that they can't swim, but it's a mental thing. Do you have any advice on overcoming that mental barrier that a lot of people run into?
Yeah, like anything, practice, practice, practice. Get in easy, short swims, get in and out of the lake, and just get used to it. It will come like anything comes to you that's unfamiliar at first.
So repetitions, practice.
Repetition.
How about
and go with
getting
friends.
kicked in the face, though? That's
It's no big deal.
no big deal.
Yeah, I got over that in triathlon because you think, I mean, at first you think they did that on purpose or they're swimming over me on purpose.
Yeah.
Not true. It's just everybody's doing it and it's just you just
Everyone's
keep going.
excited and da-da-da-da. I would be thinking like, what's below me? I think that would be just in my mind the whole time. Like, what is creeping below me?
Stay on top.
If my foot goes down and I touch something,
Well,
I'm
the
not
big
gonna be
carve,
happy.
and then we've done stories about all the cars that they've been finding at the bottom of the
The
Chicago.
cars.
97 cars.
Right.
Yeah.
And who knows what else
I
is
say
down
keep
there.
swimming. Don't dive down.
Don't dive down.
Stay close to the surface.
If you have a cramp, put your leg up, not down.
I have one more very selfish question before we let Paul go. You said you're a podiatrist.
Yes.
Okay, we talked to a dermatologist last week, and I was grilling her about like longevity when it comes to shelf life and skincare and everything. Do you have any rules of thumb for foot health?
No, I'm a foot doctor. No.
Wait, podiatry?
Podiatrist joke, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Rules
I was
of
like,
thumb, he's a foot doctor. He said no rules if you get it. He got it now.
So,
he's good now.
Now I gotcha.
rules of thumb
Tiffany just
for
freaked out. What
Just
did I
foot health in general that
Yeah.
you apply to yourself and your family that a lot of the general public don't know.
I got into podiatry in part because of sports medicine, and I had terrible feet. I had to drop out of track and cross country in high school because of my feet. I never got taken to a podiatrist, but, and I always tell people, if I hadn't been a podiatrist for the past, I don't want to say 35 years, I wouldn't have been able to do triathlon for all those years. Great shoes, get them fitted appropriately. If you have trouble with things like plantar fasciitis, get it treated right away, because the longer the plantar fasciitis, heel pain, arch pain stays, the harder it is to get rid of. So get things treated right away in the foot, especially if you're an athlete, whether a runner or triathlete, or even swimmer. And yes, swimmers can have some foot problems. But get it treated right away by a podiatrist, or sports medicine podiatrist.
And
Wow.
I'll use the phrase again, rules of thumb, rules of maybe thumb, toe, thumb,
Big toe.
Rules of
in
toe.
terms of choosing the right footwear.
Yes. Well, go to a store, go to a brick and mortar store that's qualified, has good technical staff, and can watch you walk and maybe put you on a treadmill or a pressure sensor map, and can really look at your foot. Because there's not, patients always ask me, well, what's the right shoe for me? And I say, the one that fits you the best and for your foot, because not all feet are created equal.
Right.
And there's so many, and we're kind of in a one-size-fits-all society, but you really have to be very specific. So first time, I mean, if you find the perfect shoe, great. Order it online afterwards. But go in and get fitted with it with somebody with the know-how, the technical know-how to fit you appropriately.
What do you say to
Yes.
people who say you should go bare feet as often as you can, so your foot can spread out?
I give them my business card, because
They're going to
they'll
be
be in
calling
pretty
you?
soon.
Oh, no way.
Wow. Yeah, because we've seen those
Well,
sock things.
Yeah,
where-
yeah.
Unless you happen to live on a golf course and can run on soft ground, because that was a big thing many years ago, like 20 or so years ago, was this barefoot running craze.
Yes.
The idea being that we evolved running barefoot.
Yeah.
Well, we also did not evolve with asphalt. So the pressure, the stress, the wear and tear, barefoot running, it's a good idea. And if you can do it on a soft, grassy surface all the time, more power to you. That's
Yeah.
fine. It can help you, it can help teach you better technique. So blending it in a little bit to get more of a forefoot running style, mid to forefoot running style, great. But for getting out on the pavement every day,
You got to get a good pad.
Some-
of
need
you'll
some
see me
support.
for a stress fracture or something.
Congratulations to
card.
you.
Yeah, that's
Amazing
awesome.
work, not only athletically, but also with the fundraising and the cause. Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you so
Thanks for
much.
coming in
Thank
all
you.
the way
Paul,
from Valpo.
Summer. Yeah, you guys are neighbors.
I know it. Valpo's darling. Obsessed with Valparaiso.
Great place.
I love it. It's a great place to
We
live.
should have
But
carved
That's
I'm from
30.
Chicagoland all my life.
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, thank you. I know you'll be
Congrats.
back next year, and we will continue to kind of keep an eye on this Chicago River Swim. I like the name change idea too. The Great
Great
Chicago
Yeah.
River Swim.
Right.
The memories were made.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Summer. Really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so
We're going to take a really quick break, but when we come back, we're going to be speaking with our finance expert, Patty Asai, about the prevalence and dangers of the whole buy now, pay later craze. She is going to join us when we come back.
I initially
9:21, welcome back. So every other Monday, we talk to a finance expert, and today we have the author of Never Date a Broke Dude and CEO of the Flex Financial Freedom Academy, Patty Asai. Good morning to you, Patty. Welcome back.
Good morning. Glad to be back.
So today we're diving deep into the whole buy now, pay later options, because they're popping up everywhere. We kind of touched on this last week a little bit, how even down to, we did talk about it, about even like a quick DoorDash, you can break it into four payments. So it's really kind of in our everyday purchasing life, and how there's positives and there may be some negatives too. So can we first talk about how it works, this buy now, pay later program?
Yes, so buy now, pay later is typically when you purchase something on a program like Klarna, for example, and they split up the payment into 4 payments or 3 payments, and you pay it over time. And unfortunately, because the economy is bad, people have lost their jobs, people are using buy now, pay later for groceries, like you were saying, for delivery, for food, and that is really the worst thing that you can do, is use these programs for necessities like that, because at the end of the day, you will rack up a lot of debt without even knowing it.
What kind of debt are we talking about in most of these programs?
Well, it really depends on what you buy, right? But a lot of it is retail debt, and typically people can't afford these items, so they're like, you know what, I can afford it if I just buy now and pay it over, 3 or 4 months. But when it comes to the end of actually having to pay, they don't understand that it adds up, and then they don't end up having the money.
So let's talk about late fees, because like you said, it's good if you can keep up with your payments, but if you miss a payment, how can it affect you with your credit and those pesky late fees?
Oh my gosh, this is where the problem is, and people don't understand the ramifications of not paying on time. So a few things that happen. If you don't pay on time, you could have late fees, $7 to $10. They can suspend your account, okay? So you won't be able to use any buy now, pay later until you pay off that debt. Interest, a lot of them will charge 25 to 30%. You heard that right. 25 to 30% interest on unpaid debt. And if you continue not to pay it, it goes into collections. But really, the worst part is how it affects your credit score, okay? So generally, if you have a late payment on a credit card, it doesn't tank your credit score. But buy now, pay later, it does. They will not report if you're paying on time, which will help your credit score. But if you don't pay, your credit score can take a 100-point hit just with one late payment.
No.
That seems unfair.
Yes.
If you're doing everything right, they don't give you credit. If you do things wrong, it's the first thing they notice.
With 1 minute?
Yes, it's a scam.
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
Yeah.
That is
That's
brutal, because like
insane.
honestly, that could be the difference between getting a home loan and not getting a home loan.
That could be, hey, I forgot to pay this, and now, to your point,
Right?
can't buy a house?
Unbelievable.
So I guess you have to sign up for those like auto pays.
Patty, what does it do to people's mindset as well? In terms of, I always have kind of a general idea of like where my checking account is, where my savings account is, day to day or week to week. With these buy now, pay later plans, does it mess with people's sense of like financial, I guess, short-term financial security?
Absolutely. It makes you believe that you can afford something that you actually cannot afford. And that's the problem. That's why so many people get in trouble with these buy now, pay laters, because they're thinking, oh, I can afford it. This is just something I really wanted. Let me treat myself, when they don't really have the money. And again, they end up getting in trouble.
Okay, so what scenarios is it okay or a good idea to use these plans?
Okay, so there are some scenarios, and this is for necessities that you were going to buy anyway, and you have the money for anyway. For example, back to school items, you have to buy that. Or if you, for example, are training for something, they're just necessities like gym shoes or things that you really need to live and survive. That's okay, but you have to make sure that you have the money for it already in your bank account and you're not spending that money.
Okay. If somebody is deciding between whether to put something, an item, on a credit card.
That was what I was going to ask.
Oh, it was?
I'm
okay.
right, no,
Great minds.
Yes.
Great minds, Caitlin. Okay. Deciding whether to put an item on a credit card or put it on a buy now, pay later. What are some, I keep using the phrase rules of thumb this show. What are the rules of thumb that we need to keep in mind when making that decision between credit card or buy now, pay later?
Well, first of all, you shouldn't put anything on a credit card that you cannot pay at the end of the month. That's just the rule. But a lot of people do put things on credit card that they're not able to pay at the end of the month, so they have to pay interest. So if you cannot pay it off at the end of the month, but for example, you have a bonus that you know for sure is coming in, buy now, pay later may be a better option because you're not paying interest over 3 or 4 months, which you would be paying on the credit card. So if you know you have a chunk of money coming in, you have a bonus coming in, or something like that, buy now, pay later may be a better option because you're not going to pay interest on the money that you're spending.
Okay, so there's a bunch of different ones you could do. You said Klarna, Afterpay. I don't know the other ones. Can you kind of break down the different options that people have, and do they have, like, are they glaringly different?
They're really not. That's the thing. They're all the same. They all have the, you know, it just depends on the retailer that accepts that form of payment. But yeah, they're generally the same. It's all between 3 to 4 payments over a period of time.
Okay, Patty, this is great information. Proceed with caution, everybody.
Yes,
oh my gosh, the
absolutely.
consequences could be dire.
Right.
If you don't stay on top of this stuff. Patty, anything else you want to add to folks you think might be useful?
Yes, so buy now, pay later is a huge scam to get you to buy more items that you cannot afford. Do not fall for it. Just buy things that you can afford so you don't get in trouble.
Okay, word to the wise. You have been warned. Patty Asai, always good to check in with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All
It is
right.
so tempting to do those. Like, it happens to me all the time. You go to buy something and it's like, oh, here are your options. You could only pay, you know, $15 and then pay the rest, you know, next week and the week after, and you're like, ooh, that would hurt a little bit less.
Have you ever done a buy now, pay later?
Of course I have.
So what do you mind sharing?
No, the most recent one was one of those, but it was it was kind of like a sling, like a little bag, and you know, it might have been one of those things where I was like, do I need this?
You're gonna do it.
And then, you know, Grady, I'm like, look, it's $15 today, you know, but then he doesn't know how much it actually, now I'm not encouraging this activity. Don't try to trick your spouse, but that was what I did.
That was what you did? I used one time. I bought, so in smaller markets, the salaries are pretty meager, right? So I was in one of my smaller markets starting out as a reporter, and I wanted an electric keyboard for the apartment, and there was one on sale for $1,250, and the buy now, pay later, it was a divided into either 4 or 5 payments of $250.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things though where
you planned for it.
I was very diligent about, I know I have a $250 payment coming up, and I think it was over the course of a year.
Oh.
So it was at the time. So that did work out, but she's right. You got to stay on top of it because it's not in your regular budget. You know what I mean? It falls outside of your habits,
Sure.
and that's where they get you.
They sneak up if you've got too many of them. You could get in trouble. Yeah.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't have done it, but here we are.
Hey, you're fine.
Here
It
we
all
are.
worked out, but proceed with caution.
Yep.
Caitlin, as we segue into our next guest, coming up after the break, how hard is it for you to get, are your youngins at the point where they're brushing their teeth on their own yet?
Yeah, they try. They try.
They try.
They do their best.
Okay.
This doctor that we have coming up, Dr. Mira, she's fabulous. But I guess we're talking about as kids get older, the different things that can happen with their teeth. We're diving deep. What about your boys? Are they good about brushing?
I wouldn't say so. Sorry.
Okay.
If
so
you guys
back it up and you say, hey, let me see that mouth. And I will say this too.
Right.
I just recently went to the dentist for the first time in multiple years.
What? You're not an every 6-monther?
No, but my husband is. Went to the dentist because my kids were going, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. But you know what? The dentist said, your teeth are perfect. Perfect.
Good for you, Caitlin. So you're doing something right.
I brush twice a day for 2 minutes each time, and I floss.
Yeah.
I'm like very
floss.
strict about it.
Good
so
for
that's
you.
why I haven't had any pain. So I'm like, do I need to go to the dentist? Love you. I love you. And yes, you need to go to the dentist.
We are going to be talking to her about setting our children and young adolescents up for a lifetime of Caitlin Cody-like success when it comes to oral hygiene. That is when we come back. Stay with us. Nothing.
Welcome back, 1033, friend of the show. This is Dr. Mira Albert, and she is talking about oral health for adolescents and teens to prepare for a lifetime of healthy smiles. She's a pediatric dentist and owner at Brush Pediatric Dentistry. She's also a national spokesperson for the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry. So we've got a lot on display here, and I know we have many different topics to cover, but thanks for coming, by the way. Good morning.
Thanks for having me back. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah.
So what are we starting with?
Yeah, so I think you remember when we did the infant oral health care, we kind of talked about toddlers. Teens aren't actually that much different than toddlers from a prevention standpoint, right?
Okay.
The basics are exactly what you were talking about before the break. 2 minutes of brushing twice a day with a fluoride-containing toothpaste and flossing. If they're doing that, that's half the battle. I think the big problem with teenagers, and I have 2 of them, I live with them, so I'm kind of an expert on teens too. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I'm living the day-to-day dream.
Yes.
They have like no time, right? They are so busy. They're leaving the house at 7 a.m. They're getting back at 7 p.m. after their extracurriculars, their sports, their private coaching, their tutor, whatever it is. And then they have to jump into dinner and homework and showering and all the things. And they're falling asleep without brushing their teeth, right? And so I'm seeing kids in my practice, and they feel, and I'm diagnosing a ton of cavities in teenagers. And when I diagnose these cavities, I see the look of like, almost like shame in their faces. It's really sad. And I just want to like arm them with better strategies, right? And so one of the most practical strategies and tips that I give the teenagers in my practice is just set an alarm, like around 8:30, okay? Take a break between your math homework and your science homework, head up to the bathroom, brush your teeth for 2 minutes, floss, take your little breather break. If you have braces, you're gonna wanna use a water flosser to keep those gums healthy. It'll take you a little bit longer to brush and floss. Really important that you're using a fluoride-containing toothpaste that has the ADA seal of acceptance. That's really the distinction in choosing a fluoride, or a toothpaste, excuse me. You know, I think there's like a lot of democratization of like makeup and skincare products and stuff like that, but with toothpastes, there's so many on the market now, and it's hard to know what's what. At the end of the day, we know that fluoride is the main ingredient that actually works in fighting tooth decay when tooth decay is happening and the pH of the mouth is low. Anything else that's in the toothpaste or that is being sort of proposed to fight cavities isn't working as effectively as fluoride is, because it works when the pH of the mouth is
While we're on the subject of fluoride, do you have any thoughts that you would care to share with us this morning about certain movements to remove the required fluoride from the drinking supply?
Yeah, I think that fluoride is the most cost-effective way to fight cavities, and it's been proven safe and effective time and again for the last 60 years of sound scientific research from many of our nation's most incredible institutions. A few months ago, in fact, a bunch of healthcare organizations, the American Dental Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, all unanimously signed a letter, sent it to every single member in Congress, underscoring the safety of fluoride when used in the proper doses. And drinking water is like the best.
Oh.
It's like so inexpensive. Put it in your water bottle, drink it all day.
Zero hesitation
It's
from you.
Zero hesitation. Yeah.
So your toothpaste, where is the label that says?
It's on the box for that. It's not actually on that particular
says
tube.
that it has fluoride
But
in it.
it has fluoride in it, and it's got the ADA seal of acceptance as well.
That was what I was curious about, because
Yeah.
some kinds of toothpaste don't have that little boom, ADA. You can see American
Dental
Association seal of approval. What does that actually mean when it doesn't have it versus when
It's
it does?
passed a series of vetting and is safe and effective to use.
Okay.
And so that's really why our professional organizations are there. They're really to provide guidance to the public and how to take care of our health, whether it's, you know, any American Medical Association, American Dental Association, all these organizations, American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, which is where I'm from. We're here to guide the public on better healthcare choices. You know, and so speaking of that, kids are spending a lot of time scrolling, and they're coming across all this like DIY stuff, right? DIY toothpaste, DIY bleaching, DIY braces. Bad news.
Yeah.
Make sure you are seeing a board-certified pediatric dentist for the best recommendations.
Yes.
If you're concerned, many teens are obviously concerned with their appearance. They'd like to get braces. There are two types. There's the traditional brackets and wires, and then the clear aligners.
Oh.
Both work effectively in most cases, but you're going to want to be guided by an orthodontist to make the right selection for your kids.
Yeah.
And in fact, what's kind of fun is last week I saw in the New York Times that there is an uptick, according to a study by the American Academy of Orthodontics, that teenagers are opting for silver braces again. All this like metal mouth
like
is over.
style now.
It's
the
style.
Yeah.
And so it's like the
So it's
analog
like moving
cameras.
away. These are the Invisalign.
Yeah, those are the clear aligners.
And so there's a
There's two
move
different
back
brands.
toward
Because these are
old
more
Slight
school.
move for the younger kids. I think probably adults still want the clear aligners.
Yeah.
But the little kids are moving towards the
I like
braces and
it.
wires.
They're cute.
There's some site changes that you need to make in terms of how you take care of your teeth, right? Whether you're in aligners or braces. So you want to take the advice of your dental hygienist and your pediatric dentist and your orthodontist in terms of specific care.
I was going to say that toothpaste, by the way.
Yeah.
The Quip, before I forget, that's what I use. And it's fantastic because the company will send you a new head-to-toe
Quip.
toothbrush. Yeah. Every, what is it, 3 months or something?
Yeah,
They send you
and
one in the mail if you sign up, and
little
it's only like
subscription.
$5.
Yeah.
And it has a timer on it. So you click it and it vibrates.
Oh, okay.
And it'll vibrate every 30 seconds, so you get each quadrant of your mouth.
Quadrant. Look
Right?
at you.
Right?
Wow.
like a
I'm
Pro
obsessed
over
with
there.
Quip. Okay, now
Let's see, Dr. Albert,
sweet
you
peas.
mentioned a strategy, you know, the 8:30 alarm between the math and science for a teenager. I've got a 9-year-old who is, we have to stay on him every night before bed. It's like, you know, after the popcorn. Do you have any other strategies for like the younger kids?
Same thing works, right? So setting an alarm, if you have like a little alarm in your house, like a little Alexa in your kitchen or
Sure.
Google Home or whatever it is, setting an alarm, making it fun, music modeling, brushing with them is really fun. Just being a great model. Kids are watching everything we do, right?
Yeah.
And so they're taking the cues from us. So your kids are taking great cues from you,
you say,
Caitlin.
Toots, let's get upstairs. It's time to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
You brought in a bunch of stuff here. I'm guessing, I can't see the labels
sweet
for all the
treats.
drinks, but I'm guessing they all have sugar in common with one another. Is that right?
So the biggest difference, I mean, the teenagers still love the sticky snacks like the little
Oh,
kids do.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The big shift with the teenagers in snacking is the energy drinks, right? They're looking to stay awake. The problem with the energy drinks is, one, the caffeine in a lot of them, which cause palpitations and other cardiac events. But the
Yes.
sugar and acid content
Why
can be
are
super
teenagers
destructive.
drinking caffeine like this?
I don't know.
It's so
But maybe to stay awake because they're so overscheduled. But
We've
they're
talked about how they've
exhausted.
that most sleep experts say that they should start the school day later
Yes.
for
Totally.
teenagers because they need more sleep. But
It
that's
scares me with their
little off.
hearts.
So-
They're so young, they shouldn't need that stuff.
Yeah, the AAPD Healthy Mouth Reports recommends water and milk. And then honestly, in my practice, I tell teenagers that even chocolate milk is okay when you need that sweet punch because it doesn't have the acid that's in some of these other energy drinks.
So the acid takes a toll on what the enamel of the tooth, or is it more digestive, or?
The acid just sets up the environment where tooth destruction can occur. And so we want neutral pH beverages when we're choosing what we're going to be drinking.
These are so good. I think
How do we delineate between the ones that have the safe level of or non-acid and
I
ones
think
that-
it's milk and water is like
Milk
the
and water.
really unfortunate
The
sad
old
answer.
standby.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's really milk and water.
social media has like thrown these all over the place, and that's probably why all the young kids.
Well, they're
are
pretty
drinking
and they're
too.
colorful and they're fun, and I think the
Yes.
girls like those
They're
a
so
lot. Is
popular.
The
my
boys
answer.
like prime.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. They like
So,
prime.
Alani New is like the thing for the, and this is like the winter.
Yeah,
Or the
we just
winter,
need to
the
get them like getting a
spring
cool
kind of-
water bottle and like
Right.
just drinking
Yeah.
water out of their
I
water.
love
Yeah,
that.
right.
That's what we
Or
need
the
to do.
Starbs. That was back in my day.
Fluoride water.
Starbucks.
How about these other culprits here? Why did you choose Nerds and Sour Patch Kids to bring in
Okay,
today?
so Sour Patch Kids, again, triple threat. Acid, sugar, sticky. Like it's bad, worse, right?
Yeah.
So
perfect storm.
really bad,
Yeah.
exactly. The sticky Nerds clusters, same thing, super
good,
sticky.
though.
If things are sticking
so
to the
good. Aren't they so good? They're
My
so
wif's
good.
best friend introduced me to those. I'm like,
Oh,
you gotta
it's
get
like
to the
dangerous.
dentist
It's
for
like
your
taking
fluoride
nerds
treatment.
I
and
know it.
tanginess,
Yeah.
and it's- the texture of them is like, oh,
delicious.
more. Anyway.
Yeah. So they're just really sticky. So if you're looking for like a sweet alternative, again, you could have like a little chocolate milk. Dark chocolate's a great alternative. The less it kind of hangs out in the mouth, the less problematic
Yeah.
it's going to be.
Yes.
And so rinsing really well after is very, very important.
Oh, I remember you said in the other segment that we did, ice cream is okay for a sweet treat because it's milk.
It's just like kind of gone,
Yeah,
right? It like
yeah.
doesn't stick to your teeth unless it's covered in
Right.
sprinkles and all that
Wow.
stuff. So it's kind of like a fun little trick
That's
too.
cool.
I know.
That's good
Not
to
as
know,
bad.
actually, because
When you think
we
about
we always,
It doesn't stick on your teeth.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Totem.
And then the other topic is like whitening, right? So teenagers are like, oh, or their parents are like, oh my gosh, my kid's teeth are just like so yellow. Can you like tell us how to bleach? We come in and plaque is yellow, right? So it's a thin layer of like sticky yellow on the teeth. And in so many cases, we just remove that plaque and they're like, oh my gosh, my teeth are 10 shades
no.
whiter.
With just the
Way.
polish, with just the standard
taking the
polishing.
plaque off the
Chipping it
teeth.
off.
So brushing really effectively at home, a good dental cleaning with your pediatric dentist twice a year or more if you need it. If you're in braces, it could be 4 times a year. Can be really effective at whitening the teeth. And then if you want to pursue whitening, you talk with your pediatric dentist and you say, what's the best thing? It's everything from over the counter to custom trays, and they'll guide you.
What do you think about Crest white strips?
I think they're great. I think they
For
just
kids
like
too,
cover,
and
they
they-
just are like a small area, right? Like
Yeah.
they're safe, they're effective, and they
For kids and teens too, or is there kind of a young?
every case is going to be a little bit different, so I
Got
would
it.
definitely talk to your board certified pediatric dentist before doing that. And again, the teeth need to be clean. In order for the bleach to work, it has to have direct contact with the
There
teeth.
can't be a layer of
So
plaque over
they're really,
it.
yeah, you could have
Okay.
like spotty
In
teeth.
terms of the mindset that we need to be in for the possibility of orthodonture, what are the telltale signs that, hey, it's time to look into
Yeah, this is like a
orthodontia?
big topic. I'll try to be
And at
as
what
brief
age,
as
too?
possible.
And as what
so
age?
we start screening, believe it or not, we can tell really young, like age 1 or 2, we can start to see the skeletal patterns of children and how their teeth are coming together, and we can almost like forecast what they're going to need when they're older. That's a good board certified pediatric dentist that's looking at that. And around age 7, I'd say like roughly 30% of kids need to see an orthodontist for phase 1, which I would call more orthopedic. It means there's like a skeletal discrepancy and they might need an expander, headgear, these like things that we hear children about. So around 3rd or 4th grade, you'll see a bunch of kids getting braces.
Oh.
And then tons of parents are like, does my kid need braces? Does my kid need braces? And then that takes care of the orthopedic phase 1. And then around middle school, once all the baby teeth are lost, so 7th and 8th grade is about the most common time we go into traditional braces to actually align the teeth in the now realigned jaws that are
After all the baby teeth are gone.
after all the baby teeth are gone is the phase 2 definitive phase of braces, and then of course
binky mouth
retention.
is the first phase.
The what?
Binky mouth.
The binky mouth.
Her little baby.
Yeah,
with the binky.
We
got
had
it
one.
away.
We had one that.
We took it away, then she got sick, and we felt bad, and so we gave it back, and now it's back. And
Put it
What
in like
is
a little.
binky mouth? I don't. I'm
So
unfamiliar.
when toddlers and babies use a pacifier, depending on the intensity and the duration, so if they're like really suckling on it very hard for long periods of time, it can reshape the upper jaw, create like a little open bite or like a little protrusion, little cross bite in the back, and all of that kind of needs
like
to be corrected.
her teeth kind of go like this,
like V-shaped, yeah.
instead of like this.
Yeah.
It's like that, and then when she smiles, to your point, there's a gap like underneath the front of her teeth.
Oh,
I could show you a video.
Okay, got it. Well, we had one that was addicted to the binky pacifier, whatever they
Did
call
you plant it and put a sucker in the ground?
We were in a way we were addicted to it too as parents
easy, I get
because
it.
it's an
I
easy
know.
way. We had to discard all of them from the house, not only for the little one but for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our second one, no interest.
That is like,
ever.
I always tell parents that it's a lot more typically about the parents than the kids. The kids are like, yeah, I'm good, especially if you were paying.
Takes like a day and then.
But speaking of addictive things, this is a vape pen.
Okay.
So this is another like teen issue, right? Nicotine.
Okay.
And I think this is like one of the more dangerous things that's going on with teenagers. And what's really scary about it is it's not just vaping. I'm seeing an uptick in actual cigarette smoke again, which is crazy because they now think that like they've heard some bad news about vaping, so they're like, oh, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes instead.
Oh no.
But then also the nicotine patches and the little pouches that they're putting directly
what are
on the
those
gums.
called again? They're really popular right now.
Yeah, there's various different brands, but they're just little white pouches and they can like hang down. But the thing with all of these products is they can cause changes in the oral mucosa or the gums, and they can all cause cancer. They can cause changes at the cellular level and cause cancer, but they can also, so oral cancers, throat
Have you seen that in
cancers.
young people?
We see it later because it takes time, so,
Yeah,
potentially when they're older.
Yeah.
But the changes start early because kids aren't done growing. And then, of course, the vapes are totally marketed towards children,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They're bright and
They're
colorful,
flavored.
full of sugar that can cause cavities, gum disease. So, I think all parents should be having these really straightforward discussions with their children about the dangers of nicotine and vaping. And there have even been some cases in the literature, very rarely, but the vape pens are powered by lithium-ion batteries, and we all know what can happen when those heat up. They can explode.
Yeah.
And so that can cause like dental trauma, even jaw fractures. So it's really important to talk to your teenagers about, not using these nicotine-containing products, and some of the vapes obviously contain THC too, they're just really gateway drugs. And so we try to have these conversations in my practice with teenagers as well. So
Very, very good.
Yeah,
Dr. Mira
such good
Albert,
information.
Yeah.
amazing info.
yeah, thank you.
So much. Super, super helpful. I hope all the parents watching this morning got a lot out of that, especially with Halloween coming up, right?
Totally.
Oh,
The scariest of all holidays.
Scariest, yeah.
I'll come
Hey,
back.
to keep it in business, I got it.
Right.
Thank you
Except
so
for I'm
much.
not in my practice today, but thanks for having me.
Yeah, come back
It's great to
sometime
chat.
for sure.
I'd
Thank
love to
you
be
so
back.
much. Really
So,
appreciate it.
all right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and then speak with somebody who knows a thing or two about longevity. A centenarian. It is National Centenarians Day today, a day set aside to celebrate and honor those who have reached that century mark. I can't wait to talk to Dorothy Sykes when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is Monday. It is Victory Monday because the Bears won, but guess what else? It is National Centenarians Day today. This is a day set aside each year where we celebrate and we honor those who have reached the age of 100. And it's a time to partake in the rich history and wisdom that centenarians share. And so without further ado, I want to welcome to the program Dorothy Sykes, a centenarian of Belmont Village, Buffalo Grove. Dorothy, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh my gosh, thank you. We are honored to have you on Chicago Now, Dorothy. Thank you so much for taking time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start off just by asking the question that is on everyone's mind, and that is, what has been your secret to longevity?
To tell you the truth, my secret is eating well, exercising, and making sure I get enough rest at night.
I love those things. Dorothy.
3 good strategies.
Yes.
Eating well, exercising, and making sure you're eating well. I love and sleeping well. Yes.
Dorothy, I want to know, my first question for you is, what has it been like to see all of the changes over the past 100 years? And do you feel like recently things have been just speeding up with the changes happening in our world?
Yes, I do. I keep up with everything.
Oh, yeah.
With the news, with weather, even with the stock market going up and down. And all my private affairs I do by myself. I get in touch with my attorney to make sure that whatever I've done is in proper condition. And they pretty well have the last word to say as to what I'd like to do.
Good. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Dorothy, I have kind of a random question for you. All right, it's the year 2025. What is your earliest memory?
Childhood.
More specifically.
I came from a very, very happy and loving family. We were all very, very close. And I think I contribute my life to my bringing up.
That's amazing. Do you have siblings that are still around today?
No, my entire family is deceased, and I'm the only one left. So it's up to me to make sure I make the right decisions at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
How about sons, daughters, grandkids, great-grandkids?
No, I have none.
That's the secret, Dorothy. You got sleep because you never had those kids keeping me up. I think I'm losing ears over here. Do you have a smartphone? Are you still able to drive? Like, what is your life like day to day?
Just to keep going.
Oh, yeah, just to keep going. I love it. So you mentioned exercise. Are you still doing programs by chance? Like a physical therapist, or what are you doing?
You mean my daily routine? I exercise every morning, and I go to all the things that they have scheduled. I try to the best of my ability. I found out one thing though, getting older, you slow down a little bit. And you're not as active as you like to be. And then being in a wheelchair, to me, is a great handicap. I'm kind of embarrassed to be pushed around all the time. And I just wish I could walk.
That makes total sense. Nothing to be embarrassed about at all, though. This is a milestone that I would say all of us aspire to reach one day. Let me ask you this. We talked about some of the things you do physically to have longevity, but in terms of your mind, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do to keep your mind active and your mind healthy?
Well, I try, as I say before, I try to listen to the news. I try to converse with people of my own ability. I seem to get more enjoyment out of that. Sometimes I get secluded in my room for my thoughts, but otherwise I just push myself to keep going every day.
Dorothy, I've got a fun question for you. Let's talk about the pleasures in life. What was your favorite or has been your favorite meal that you've ever had, and where was it at?
Well, my favorite meal is just food. Truthfully, not to brag, I am a good cook. I love to cook and I love to bake.
Oh.
And my husband and I love to travel. We went to countries to see their culture, how they ate, how they lived. It was just wonderful, and I learned so much by that. I think it furthered my mind as to knowing how people are on the other side of the world.
How far have your travels taken you in life, Dorothy?
Oh, we've traveled quite a bit, my husband and I. Seeing we had no children, that was our diversion, just to keep going when we had the time.
If you could give one piece of advice to everyone who's listening to you, what would it be?
To make every day count, make it your best, even though you have to push yourself to do it. Reach your goal and try to accomplish it.
So well said. Dorothy Sykes, it is such an honor to have you on the program. It's great to have you in Chicagoland. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, what a treasure.
It's my pleasure.
What a treasure. So we need to sleep well, we need to eat well, we need to exercise, and we need to keep paying attention to the news.
Yeah.
When I asked her what keeps her mentally, you know,
She keeps
there,
up with it. She mentioned the weather. She mentioned the stock market. She's
impressed.
Cruising.
Dorothy Sykes, can't think of a better way to end our hour.
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's
keep
make
going, even if it's
this
hard.
Monday count.
Reach those goals.
Like we know Dorothy Sykes is going to be doing. All right, we are creeping up on 11 a.m. We got another hour of Chicago Now right after this.
You are so pretty.
Tia
You are so beautiful.
is
She's just
right
standing over here.
She'll be up next, everybody.
You'll
Have a
see.
great one.
Fox 13.
I'm going to run a mile for every point the Bears lose by. Yep, you heard that right. For every point the Bears lose by, I'll run a mile. Bears are playing the Lions today for a divisional matchup. Let's see what happens. Lions easily drive down the field on the first possession of the game. Lions up 7-0. Bears strike back with a beautiful drive that ends with an Doomsday touchdown. Scores tied at 7. Lions with a nice drive towards the end of the first quarter. Montgomery finished off the drive with a rushing touchdown. Lions score 52-21. Bears lose by 31. Let's run these 31 miles.
Mile 1, mile 2, mile 3, mile 4, mile 5, mile 6, mile 7, mile 8, mile 9, mile 10, mile 11, mile 12, mile 13, mile 14, mile 15, mile 16, mile 17, mile 18, mile 19, mile 20, mile 21, mile 22, mile 23, mile 24, mile 25, mile 26, mile 27, mile 28, mile 29, mile 30. And that's mile 31. It is 10:05 p.m. right now, and I might just sleep until next week's game. Make sure you're following, because we're doing this for the entire Bears season, and I will see you next week when the Bears play the Cowboys at home.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I would have been good and gone. By mile 3, I would have died. This is Chase Bandelick, who decided to, for every point that the Bears lose, you're going to run that actual mile. So last week, when they lost to Detroit, you ran 31 miles.
Yes, yeah, right after the game.
What the hell, Chase?
Yeah.
What made you come up with this?
Well, I've been a Bears fan my whole life, and I'd always get really down after they lose, and it ruined the rest of my Sunday heading into the week. And last year, around week 8, is when I came up with the idea of running a mile for every point they lose by. Running is something that clears my head, and the more they lose by, the more down I'd be. So the more miles would help me feel a lot better heading into the week.
So let's just reset here, because I jumped right into it. After I saw that video, I just started talking. So this is Chase Bandelick. I'm Tia Ewing. This is the second hour of Chicago Now. I just find this incredible. So you got to get a break.
Yes, that was great. Great
That had to be good. These aren't the shoes, are they? Are these the shoes that you're running in?
These are not, but I do love Brooks and Mount Coast are some of my go-to shoes.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you were doing that, because I'm going to be honest with you, if I came up with this idea, it would have been much different. I would have faked it. Oh. So I would have been like, this is mile 1. This, and just, you know, literally jogged down the block a couple of times. Did you really do this?
Yes, I ran the whole thing. I started off by taking off from my house. I didn't want to stop at home, because when you stop at home, you want to take longer breaks. So I stopped at gas stations for fuel. I got until it was about dark out. It was around mile 20. That's when I stopped at home, got a vest so people could see me. And I have like 1 mile loops around my neighborhood. So I just did loops around my neighborhood and just fueled around there. And just to stay safe when it gets dark, I don't like to be on busy roads. But yeah, it felt a lot better after than I did during it, that's for sure.
How long did it take you to accomplish this? Because obviously you took a few breaks.
Yes, yeah, so I took a few breaks. I started pretty closely after the game ended, so right around 4 p.m., and then I ended at 10:05 p.m.
Oh, wow. So let me ask you, you had to be a runner prior to this. You didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to do this. What has the reaction been to people on social media? How many views did that video get?
Yeah, definitely got a lot of views. I think on Instagram and TikTok both got over 1 million views. Reaction's been very positive. I think a lot of fans can relate to it. After a Bears game when they lose, I usually look to see what analysts say or Bears fans and see how they're feeling, and you kind of don't feel alone. You can relate to the person. So I feel like people see it and they're like, oh, I'm kind of sad the Bears lost. And they're like, at least I'm not doing this, and they're excited about it.
So you started the game that they lost with Detroit. Was that your first time doing this?
No, I actually started this last year around week 8. Unfortunately, they did go on a little bit of a losing streak, so there was a lot of running. But Detroit was the longest I've ran for the Bears, was the 31 miles.
So if you add it all up, how many miles have you been running because they've been losing?
I know last year, throughout the season, I ran over 100 miles collectively from when I started. But this year, hopefully no more miles ran, and hopefully they go undefeated the rest of the way. That would be great.
You're running more than some of their actual players that are supposed to run. Have you heard? That was a little shade. Have you heard anything from the Bears?
Bears have commented on a few videos. I did the preseason Bears-Chiefs when they won. They commented on that video, and then they commented on this last video I did and said rest week for me.
Oh, yeah, good.
Bear down, too.
Bear down. So let me ask you, do you go to the games? And how did you become a Bears fan? Was this because in your household, everybody in your house where you grew up were Bears fans, and so you just continued the tradition?
Yeah, I've been to a few games. I love watching on TV. You get to see the replays. I love being in person because you get the energy. But it really started when I was young. My granddad would take me to Bourbonnais to go watch the Bears and get some autographs. So that's kind of when I fell in love with the team.
How do you train for this? Because like I said, the average person, including me, could not just lace up and start doing this out the blue. Were you already working out consistently prior to this? I mean, you look fit, so it makes me think so.
Yeah, I've already been working out. I'm actually a gym owner and personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for over 11 years now. and I'm an ultra runner. Usually my week when I'm like in peak training consists of 100-mile weeks where I'm doing 2 runs Monday through Thursday. Friday's the longer run, and then Saturday I'm usually running anywhere from like 2 to 5 hours, and then Sunday's another long run. But actually earlier this year I ran through the entire state of Illinois from bottom to top, which was 416 miles over 10 days.
Oh, so you do this. This
Yes.
isn't like, you know, an amateur that just laces up and starts running. Has this helped your business at all? Because I would think people find out about you, they see this video, they see that you're obviously really into fitness. Maybe they want to sign up and come to you. Has this increased your visibility on a business front?
I would say so, yeah. It's definitely helped. I've always liked to lead by example and showcase myself, pushing myself to inspire others to want to do the same for themselves.
What's your goal behind this? Obviously, you don't want the Bears to keep losing, because as a Bears fan, I can relate to that. But what's your goal in terms of, you know, where this goes next?
Yeah, I'm just hoping it just pushes more people to want to get out and start running. I feel like the whole concept of the videos is before every week, I post that I'm going to do this challenge, and that's me saying no matter what, I'm going to follow through, no matter what the distance is. Doesn't matter if it's a afternoon game or a night game, I'm going to run that distance. And it just shows that if you're a man of your word and you're a woman of your word, it just leads to great things.
That's actually really true, to be honest and straightforward. So let me get this straight. So if they lose that particular night, you then go run that night no matter what, or do you wait until the next day?
I run that night. When the game ends, I'm lacing up the shoes, getting ready to run. There have been games where I've ran and I started at 10:30 and haven't finished till 5 a.m. and then I got to go work a full day. But it just shows no matter what, keep your word and get it done.
Oh my goodness, at all costs. So how are you like eating? And because a lot of times when people are watching games, the next thing you know, they pick up a nacho. The next thing you know, they pick up the hot dog. They pick up a slice of pizza. Are you watching not like an average fan? Because most fans, you know, they're eating, having a little something to drink, and then, you know, the night is over. So are you eating like a regular fan? Because I would think not, because you know you have to lace up and run.
Yeah, definitely as a runner, carbs are great, so that's a nice thing.
Okay.
With all the running I'm doing,
You see, I don't run.
I could use all the carbs, so it just helps fuel me. So, but definitely if the score gets kind of crazy, then I'll start to fuel a little bit more and make sure I'm getting enough calories. But for these long runs, I shoot for about 250 calories an hour, and I shoot for about 1,000 milligrams of sodium per hour as well.
I want to go back to something you said, because it just dawned on me. I think I heard you right. You're running how many miles per week?
Per week, usually in peak training, I'm running over 100 miles a week.
What? Everybody back there is like, what? They said some other words that I can't say on TV. What made you start doing that part of this? Were you doing that anyway? I mean, were you an athlete growing up?
Yeah, so I played football for most of my life. I played at Hersey High School in Arlington Heights, and then I went to Illinois Wesleyan D3 to play football. And then once I was done, I just missed training for something. That was what really pushed me, was having a date on the calendar, which for football, it was that game every week, and now it's having races on the calendar. I started by running the Chicago Marathon. I actually did it with a weighted vest. I said, if we donate this amount before the marathon, I'll run it with a weighted vest. And I actually ran a marathon with a weighted vest before I ran one without one. And then after that, I ran my first 100-miler, 200-miler. I've done an Ironman. I ran 100 miles on a manual treadmill. And then most recently, I ran from the bottom of Illinois to the top. So definitely love pushing myself.
You love competing, it sounds like.
Yes.
So what's next in terms of competition? It's got to be something. I mean, after a while, I would think, you know, the adrenaline is going. It's fun to do these runs, but you've knocked that off the list. So what's next?
Next, I'm going to try to set the plank world record, which is currently over 9 hours.
And so what is that? Explain that for our viewers that may not understand.
So the abdominal plank, where you're on your forearms, and it's a core exercise. So I'm going to hold that position and aim to hold it over what the current record is.
All right, well, let's start now. I mean, what are we waiting on? Let's get, you're laughing, I'm serious. Let's see how this is done.
You want to see it?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so
you think I'm kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready for anything.
Yeah,
this
so
is live TV. Hold on, let me get my mic together.
I like it, yeah.
In my dress. Look, good thing I wore a long dress. People behind the scenes are like, are they really about to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So when it comes to the plank, you're going to be on your forearms.
I'm going to be the dad down
And then think about pulling your rib cage down towards your hips. You want to be a little bit rounded with the shoulders. We call this protraction of the shoulders.
Is this low or is
that's
this
perfect? Yeah, that's good.
Like my butt's up too
But you
high.
actually want to be a little bit rounded with the shoulders, because that puts you in a nice, safe position, and you feel that core engaged. You just want to breathe, relax, hang out.
We're definitely going to go to a break here soon. Let me ask you this, since we're already down here.
Let's hear it.
They're laughing like, I can't believe this fool is doing this. I do all kind of crazy stuff on this show. So you said you're doing this plank record thing you got going on. You played sports.
Yes.
And so you also have a gym.
Yes.
What else? I mean, what else can a person do? I mean, you've done it all in terms of fitness.
Yeah, I just love pushing myself, and I feel like it translates to daily life when I'm doing these ultra marathons where you're going without sleep, you're hallucinating, you want to stop, but those moments help you if you got to stay up all night for a business. If you got to get stuff done, it makes it a lot easier because you're like, at least I'm not running, at least I'm not out in the woods where it's raining.
Did you ever think you'd do an interview while doing a dang on play?
I got to say, you're doing a great job.
I'm doing a decent job.
You might get the record before me.
I don't think I will. I'm shaking profusely inside. My last question for you.
Let's hear it.
How did you end up getting an interview? Because we saw you because someone else interviewed you first.
Yeah, a lot of my interviews have actually been through direct message on TikTok and Instagram and led to some great opportunities, which I'm very blessed
I'm about to die. So tell people where they can follow you.
You can find me on Instagram at Chase Bandelik, on TikTok at Chase_Bandelik. If you're looking for the gym, you can find at
Look at
Chase
this camera
Bandelik
right here, this one right in front of us. Tell people to follow you. Go follow Chase.
Thank you, thank you. Please follow me and make sure you're following the Bears. Bear down.
All right, call the ambulance. We'll be right back.
I'm all.
After that, you need a longer break to reset, but I'm here, all right, and I am here with Lisa M. Key from the Driehaus Museum. She's the executive director, and we're talking about Tiffany lamps. This is a new exhibition that is opening Beyond the Shade. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about this because I think, you know, the first thing I thought of when I thought of Tiffany's, I didn't think of the lamps. You know, I thought of jewelry, and then when I kind of dug into this, realizing we'd do this interview, I was like, wow, this is an incredible history I don't know if everyone knows about.
Right, everyone knows about the company, Tiffany & Co., which was actually founded by Louis Comfort Tiffany's father. He chose to go into a different path, which was really an artistic path. So his art was creating beautiful objects out of glass. So think lamps, think vases, think Tiffany domes, which Chicago is rife with a lot of representation of Tiffany in different architecture throughout our city too.
We're looking at some of these images right now. What exactly are we looking at? And then do you know the years in which this was even started? These are absolutely phenomenal. You don't see anything like this today.
Right. So what you're looking at are the galleries at the Driehaus Museum, which is definitely not a white cube gallery space. We are housed in an 1880s Gilded Age mansion. So when you come to visit us, it's really like you are walking back in time to a Chicago age just after the Chicago fire, and it feels almost like an immersive experience when you come to our museum.
Absolutely beautiful.
And the lamps that are on display are from that same time period. So think 1880s through about the 1920s. But the thing that's amazing is you get to see the artistry and how incredible artisans were working at that time. And those are things that we see in homes even today. I mean, Tiffany has really had a resurgence in interest from people from an interior design perspective too.
I was looking at that, and it said that it started September 12th.
Yes.
How long started? It just started not too long ago, through March. What will people see? How many different rooms do you have set up there?
So we have 5 different galleries that are dedicated to this exhibition, and they are chock full of Tiffany lamps. And you talked about the exhibition title,
yes,
Tiffany Lamps Beyond the Shade, and that's very intentional. What we are looking at is not only these gorgeous glass lamp shades, but the bases themselves. Tiffany was an incredible entrepreneur and also salesperson. And so when you come to see those lamps, you can see the differences in the different bases. It was all kind of interchangeable. You could select one base and one lampshade and then have that for your home for a very low price. Not really. And people were really excited about how they could customize these lamps. So you see that through the exhibition. You also see the change going from using oil lamps to the advent of electricity, and then how that changed the artistic design of those lamps when electricity was commonly used in homes.
Let's talk about people that are watching right now that want to come out and see this. You know, I'll be honest, I've been to a lot of museums. I've never gone to the Treehouse Museum.
No.
I know, until now.
We're going to solve that.
What do you say to people that maybe they're used to going to, you know, the museums that we constantly hear about in Chicago? What do you say to people that maybe have never come?
So the Treehouse Museum has something for everyone. We are dedicated to history, so you will be able to see Chicago's history, also a gorgeous immersion of art, architecture, and design. And we are also a great bite-sized museum visit. You can come to our, we're actually housed in 2 landmark buildings, one from the 1800s and one from the early 1900s. And you are immersed in the beauty of an age, but we're also pulling the past, present into the future through exhibitions like Tiffany.
Tell me, what else do you have there? Because I know you have this going on, but you've had other exhibitions over time. Tell me about some of the others that you've had, or maybe other things that you have there now.
So we are also dedicated to programming that invites visitors to come to the museum. And for Tiffany in particular, we have a great slate of programs, starting with stained glass workshops. We have lectures that talk about the science behind glass, and then we also have a historic dance class, bow ties, bustles, and ballroom dancing, where you can come and learn how to learn dances from that era, that time period. You could even dress in costume if you wanted, so that's nearer to Halloween. So really, and every day that we're open, Wednesday through Sunday, and every day that we're open, it's really an opportunity for visitors to participate and see lots of great, incredible art.
I love it. Why do you think it's so important for people to really immerse themselves in history? It seems like, you know, in some cases, people aren't wanting to learn, or maybe some people don't want us to learn about certain things in history. Why do you think it's so important?
I think it's incredibly important to understand our history so that we can move ourselves forward. That's what artists are doing.
Yeah.
Artists are constantly looking back at what has happened and innovating on that. And so for us as visitors to see that through the lens of what creativity has led to can really be inspiring.
Very true. Let me ask you this, because when I did research on these Tiffany lamps, it seems like they've been in, you know, other destinations around the world. How hard was it to get this to come here?
So we created and curated this exhibition.
Okay.
So it wasn't hard at all, in that most of these artworks came from our own collection and from the Treehouse private collection. And I can tell you, we have enough to do several other exhibitions. So you can look forward to more Tiffany exhibitions at the Treehouse.
So walk me through that for people that may not understand that. When you're curating on that level, are you actively going to people that maybe live in Chicago that own some of these? How does that work? The behind the scenes of it all.
We worked with a guest curator. Her name was Alexandra Ruggiero, and she's an expert in glass, specifically Tiffany. And so she worked with us to look at our collection and look at the private collection and really think about the stories that that artwork could tell. A good curator is a storyteller. They're looking at how they can tell a story through objects of art. And for us, Tiffany tells so many stories as far as, you know, the time period, but also the artistry. There's a lot of nature depicted in these lamps, wisteria, hummingbirds, dragonflies. And so you can think about what the artist was thinking about when they created that piece, but also connecting different pieces together. And that's really the role of a curator and the work that they do.
Did you learn something about maybe one of these lamps that really just kind of knocked you out of your shoes? You were like, whoa, I can't believe that's the backstory.
So I talked about the advent of electricity and how that changed what they were able to do. And for me, I didn't realize that, and you will see in the exhibition, there are some lamps that have a really rounded base.
We're looking at some now. Well, they went by fast, but yeah, we saw some of those.
So those are oil lamps, because before electricity, people used oil. And the design of that was really to hide a canister that needed to go in the center to house the oil. But electricity gave them complete artistic freedom. So you start to see these very thin, artistic, sinewy bases, because they no longer had to house oil. And the thing that really blew me away was, I mean, we're used to recessed lighting and hiding our lampshade cords.
Yes, we are.
When electricity was new, you wanted everybody to see that cord. You wanted people to know that you had electricity. So for me, that was a really, really unique thing that I learned in the work of this exhibition.
Any identifying factor in terms of the age of some of these? Like where they fall into when they were actually made, what years?
Yes, you can see the type of glass that was used, the colors that were used, and also you can see how the leading of the glass was done to really age when those lamps were created.
Wow, incredible. What goes behind like housing these? Like, I ask all kinds of off the wall questions, but I'm thinking like, you can't just store this in a box and put it in the basement.
No. And I mean, we've all moved. Yeah. And we've all packed.
Yes.
And you have to really think like a mover on steroids to think about how to move these artworks so carefully. So for most of these artworks, they have individual custom storage boxes that are actually created for that lamp.
Okay.
Some of the lamps actually have different pieces that hang. So they have styrofoam that really houses the hanging pieces, and then it goes into its customized crate. It's really quite an art, just the packing of them and the care.
I can only imagine. I see that this goes until March. What's after March? So what are you working on? Because I know you're working on that stuff years in advance a lot of times.
So we are working on an exhibition schedule that's really dynamic, and after this we will be doing a caricatures exhibition. Yeah.
Explain that one. Break that one down for me.
So in the last, 1800s, artists, many times caricatures were created for newspapers and as a way to really talk about the time, what was going on in those times. And so this exhibition, which is called Artists and Pirates, is going to look at copyright laws in Ireland that allowed them to use the work of other artists and embellish on them. And it's really kind of a fascinating look at art from a different time, and also how looser copyright laws allowed artists to use others' work.
Wow, I can't wait to see that one. That one's really dynamic considering everything that's going on in the world. Real quick, where can people find out about you? What's the website?
DrieHouseMuseum.org, and on that website you can find out about programs, future exhibitions, and you can sign up for our newsletter, which is a great way to stay involved.
I see you have some stuff coming up on the fall calendar.
Yes.
What's on did you already name all of them?
I named some, but tonight, Elizabeth McGovern, Countess Grantham from Downton Abbey, is going to be in conversation with Chris Jones, Chicago's theater critic, and she will not only be talking about her experiences being on Downton, which their last movie is out in theaters right now, but she will be talking about her own one-woman play, which is opening here in Chicago, about Ava Gardner.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What time? And can the public come?
6:30 p.m. Tickets are still available. Go to our website or call.
All right, perfect. Is that it? I mean, you got so much. I'm looking at these cards. You got so much going on. So this is really good. I got to get out there. I'm mad at myself that I haven't been.
It's an easy walk, and we're great location. 50 East Erie, Erie and Wabash, and it's a great museum, and I encourage everyone to visit.
All right. Well, Lisa Key, it has been an absolute pleasure. We're going to come visit. We're going to make that part of our to-do list for this show. Maybe we can even do maybe we can even do something for the show, so other people will know about it.
I would love that.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Fox Local.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. We are talking all things fall when it comes to the state of Illinois. We know that Illinois really has some amazing small towns that really light up, it seems like, in the fall. And joining me to talk about this is Corey Jobe, the president and CEO of Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau in Southwest Illinois. Let's get right to it. There's some beautiful towns. I think we're living in a time now where a lot of people don't have a lot of cash. You want to stay local. What are some places people can go check out?
Well, there's this trend going on right now, town sizing.
Yeah.
It's where travelers are going to the undiscovered areas, the smaller towns, more relaxed, laid back, and connecting with locals. And so in Southwest Illinois, we're about a 4.5-hour drive south and west of Chicago. You can take a road trip or you can take it by Amtrak train. And we're right there on the mighty Mississippi River, and we connect with Route 66 as well.
We're looking at some of the images right now. Where are we in terms of those images?
Here along the Great River Road, that's Elsa. Elsa, the entire town's on the National Register of Historic Places. But look at the views.
You would never know.
This is the fall foliage. You've got limestone bluffs on one side. You have the mighty Mississippi River. And in this area of Alton, Graft, and Elsa is where the meeting of the Great Rivers National Scenic Byway lies along the Great River Road. And that's the confluence of the Illinois, Mississippi, and Missouri rivers.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. So it says it right here that the Great River Road was recently named the #1 scenic drive in the country. I think that's why. Does it light up and does it look better in the fall versus any other season?
Well, I think all seasons are wonderful.
Okay.
Spring, summer, you've got the green foliage. Fall is the Super Bowl of the seasons, because for about 2 months, and our fall usually peaks later, so mid-October to early November. And then we have wintering. We have the most wintering American bald eagles than any other place in North America in the winter. But for fall, we offer a fall foliage and history tour. So you take a 4-hour guided shuttle tour along the Great River Road, and you get to experience Elsa, the historic town, Pere Marquette State Park, which is the largest state park in Illinois, and then Aries Resort. And so you get a little bit of everything, and it's a ticketed price. Starts in mid-October through early November, every Thursday and Friday. And you get to experience all these beautiful local places that we get to enjoy day in and day out.
So in your opinion, is this a weekend getaway? Is this a place that people can go during the week? When do you think the best time for people to go is?
Well, it's very busy on the weekends.
Okay.
So we always encourage, we always say, why wait till the weekend when you can discover everything midweek that you can discover on the weekends? So we're not as expensive as the East Coast, and we're not as crowded as the East Coast, but our fall foliage is stunning, and you can visit Alton, Grafton, Elsa, charming little Airbnbs, restaurants. Pere Marquette State Park has a lodge and cabins, so it's fun for a girls trip weekend. The families come out and enjoy, because at Aries Resort, they have an alpine coaster, the only gravity-fed coaster in Illinois. They have a sky tour where you get on Main Street in Grafton on the River Road, and you take it up into the limestone bluffs and see the fall foliage.
I love this.
And zip lining. So it's a big family getaway, and you're looking here. Alton, Illinois is known as one of the most haunted small towns in North America. So if you're into haunted, this is McPike Mansion in the Cellar. We have 4 different haunted tour groups. Tour operators that sell haunted packages all year round, but especially September, October, November is the best time to get a little haunted chill.
I love it. Let me ask you this. I saw horseback riding.
Yes.
Would you say this is a lover's getaway, or is this bring the kids along too?
It's
or
all
either
the above.
or.
It's really all the above. It's a couples weekend. The area used to be known as a couples getaway, but over the years, families have discovered the Great River Road. But it's all the above. A girls getaway, family, lovers weekends, weekend packages. We have all that. We've got some really unique lodging properties, and what's really special about this area, we say where the Mother Road meets the River Road, and that's because Route 66 and the Great River Road, the only place in America where they intersect. Is in
I love that.
Illinois.
Let me ask you, because you did say that it gets crowded. Is this something where I can just pop up this week and say, hey, I think I'm going to take this trip this weekend, or do I need to plan? What are we looking at there?
That is one of our...
That looks familiar to me.
That's one of our giants.
Okay.
So,
There's a place of giants, right?
Yes, in Atlanta,
Yes,
Illinois.
yes.
Well, this is Granite City along Route 66. We just launched this new neon sign park where we brought back all the ghost neons that once dotted the downtown landscape of Granite City.
I love that.
And then they also installed what's called these giants that used to be dotted along Route 66 communities. That would be, this is the West End service station, a restored historic gas station that's now has reopened as a tourist information center, and Route 66 museum. Just a lot of fun and exciting things to do. But if you want to, I would suggest plan ahead, especially right now. Midweek, you're fine. Weekends,
get busy.
Plan ahead and get busy. You can find trip itineraries, hotel lodging packages, restaurant recommendations, ideas from locals over at our website, which is a great source at riversandroutes.com.
Let me ask you this. I knew about the Giants before, but I will be honest that the resurgence of the Giants, in my mind at least, and probably some of the younger people that are watching right now, TikTok, Instagram. Tell me how social media has really helped. You're shaking your head, so it really has fueled tourism there.
Well, it's that Instagrammable moment, right? These roadside attractions that an older generation fell in love with have now been restored. So next year in 26 will be the centennial year of Route 66. So the 100th anniversary, and in Illinois, it starts here in Chicago, not far from here, and it travels 301 miles. And in Southwest Illinois, we have the last 100 miles. And so we've been creating new roadside attractions, restoring historic sites, and travelers, especially the younger generation, they love that Instagrammable social media moment.
Yes, they do. We do. I can't say they because I'm part of that group. We do. Is that what you were thinking when you talked about the sign part? Because that was the first thing I thought is I could see some influencer wanting to go there, many of them, and wanting to take pictures and be seen in that part.
And the neons are always on, but obviously they look best at night. And what has happened, that has sparked a lot of festivals and events and car shows, sock hops, you name it. And it's just a unique thing that you really don't see anymore. You don't see many neon signs. And we worked with a fourth generation sign making company in Springfield, Illinois, that now has a neon factory where they restore neon signs or create neon signs from original blueprints. And it's been fascinating. And people love history and the quirkiness of it all. That's why the roadside, we have the Pink Elephant Antique Mall.
Oh, yes.
We have the Ariston Cafe in Litchfield that's over 100 years old. It's 101 years old, older than the road itself. And so not only is that a great road trip for fall, but keeping it with, packaging it with the River Road is pretty unique and stunning.
Let me ask you this, as tourism, I always say, let me ask you this. It's like my key thing I always say, but when it comes to, Instagram and social media, how has that really played into even how you think about developing new things around tourism? Because I'm sure that's got to be part of the game now. Maybe, a few years ago it wasn't as much, but it really is now.
Well, I think creating those unique experiences, right? And we think about all the farms and the orchards and the U-pick pumpkin farms and the corn mazes. Those are all unique experiences, even down to in Alton. We have a very historic downtown, and a lot of our business owners are now their experiences, where they're created to be an experience.
It has to be,
and
right?
That's how they survive and compete. And that's what has done it. And we host a lot of influencers in our area, and we have a lot of local influencers that shoot content for us on a daily. That's why we have all these great photos and video content. So
let me ask you this: so the Alton hauntings that we just had up, we got to talk about this because Halloween is right around the corner, and we know how many people love to hear things are haunted, and people want to visit those places. What are some of the stories that makes that location haunted?
Yes, so the story is that Alton back in the Civil War days had a federal prison that burnt down, and a lot of those prisoners were killed, and that prison was built out of limestone. Well, the limestone was used in a lot of the houses and businesses, the foundations, and they say the spirits
are still there
on in that limestone. And so there are many buildings in the downtown that are haunted. The McPike Mansion is supposedly the most haunted. Friendly ghosts, nothing too crazy.
What are the stories? Like when you say haunted, what are some of the stories that people have seen? Oh, I saw a woman dressed from the 1900s.
Yes, all those sorts of things. You see kids running around, kids in windows.
Oh, man.
hear certain noises in certain rooms.
I love this in a way. I love it at a distance, I think.
Well, and Alton, too, has one of the oldest Halloween parades in America. It's been going on for over 130 years.
Wow. And when does that happen? Is it on Halloween?
It happens on Halloween, on October 31st, Friday this year. And all that information, again, on our website. It's a special place that's very close. And when you're looking, as you said in the opening, you know, we're all tightening our belts a little bit, but we still want to experience things, right? And travel, everybody wants to travel, and this is such a close road trip destination for Chicagoans. And pack up the kids. We have everything.
Wait, what did we just look at here?
What's the Alpine Coaster at Aries?
Oh, wait, I saw this on social media too.
That's the only gravity-fed coaster in Illinois, and it's all under the tree canopy. That's opened all year round, so you can travel it in the winter, but fall, great for the fall foliage. And then it brings you back up to the very top, and it's a unique adventure. Oh yeah, there's some.
That's the one I think I saw on TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah, and it would be great too because you get to see some wildlife perhaps as well.
You do. And they have zip lining. They have an ATV ride that you can take. And once you're up there, they have 2 different restaurants. They have a winery. Live music every weekend, but again, a great little river town that's something unique.
It seems like you would need more than 2 days.
Well, I'd love to have you for a week.
Yeah, I have to come. I love to come for a week, but I'm sure that's helping the local people that have some of those restaurants and stuff too. So can you talk about how, you know, this influx of tourism is helping the community there?
Well, and we just announced our 2024 numbers. We had over $1.4 billion in visitor expenditures. We're a regional destination, so we're 6 counties, about 38 communities, and tourism is the #1 industry behind healthcare and our university systems there. A lot of our small business owners rely heavily on the tourism industry for success. So we have, you know, everything from, you can get, we have some of the best catfish.
Really? We're talking fried?
It's fried catfish.
Okay, you done perked me up now.
Oh, we have a couple of fisheries that still fish daily in the Mississippi. They have a cleaning system, and we have some great fried catfish stands. We have microbreweries, distilleries.
Everything.
Everything.
So let me ask you, when you say about those numbers from 2024, majority of those people, are they coming from within the state, or are you seeing people come from all over?
So our top 3 markets, Central Illinois, St. Louis, Chicago, the Paducah, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana market. But we're also a good destination for international travel because of Route 66 and the Great River Road. Now it's slower to rebound, but we're typically a 3 to 5 hour drive market destination.
And what is it like there in the winter? Because you did mention that one location was open in the wintertime, so do people come and ski? Do you have no skiing?
No, it's mainly outdoor bird watching.
Okay.
Big eagle season. A lot of people traveling. We have an Eagle Ice Festival. We have Eagle Shuttle tours. We have over 1,200 acres of federally managed lands with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, so a lot of winter hikes. A lot of outdoor adventure.
So if I'm planning a trip there, do I just go to the website, or would you suggest I call up somebody to kind of organize this? Because it sounds like it is, I wouldn't have expected it to be so much that you can do, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot you can see and do. And what we encourage people to do is come to our website, get a look for it, and then call us. I mean, we're kind of a concierge service too. We'll point you in the right direction for hotels or B&Bs, whatever type of rooming you want. We can provide you that. We can provide you a list of restaurants and experiences. We also have several tour guides that either can take you fishing or out on the Mississippi.
I love this.
For day boat cruising, and
you've convinced me.
Tours. We even have rock climbing.
Really? Well, it kind of looks like an area where you would have some rock climbing, so that makes sense too.
So if you're an outdoor adventurist, or you just like to sit back and enjoy the fall foliage and sip on a glass of...
Let's go martini, margarita, some wine. You said there's a winery, so let's go some wine.
Wineries, we got distilleries.
I love it. Anything new coming up that you want to talk about in the 2026 season that you can reveal?
Well, we have a lot happening with Route 66. The 100th anniversary will be next November 11th. 2026. But all next year, we're going to have various new festivals and events. We have what's called the new Last 100 Miles Festival. So 13 communities along Route 66 will be celebrating the Centennial. It's going to be one big weekend, October 8th and 9th of 2026. In terms of, we have a new hotel coming online, but other than that, we continue just to welcome people and enjoy their stay. And a lot of people like to get on the river. A lot of people like to visit our historic towns and eat and celebrate and have fun.
Let me ask you, I gotta quit saying that. I didn't realize how much that's like my mantra now. Let me ask you this. Okay, so with all that being said, and obviously these are smaller communities, you said they rely on tourism. What is the feel for all these different people coming there? Because I know sometimes, you know, small towns, they want to stay small. They're like, you can come, but please don't stay. Are you starting to see some people wanting to actually live? Because it's so beautiful. You know, if you're retired, that may be a great destination.
Well, we're not over tourist by any means. I need a raise then if I have that problem. But you know, it's all about, you know, people pretty much, we learned that you can work from anywhere, right?
True, especially now.
People want a great place to live. They want great schools. They want outdoor recreation amenities, public parks. Yes, a lot of people are. Our real estate prices are less expensive, and we have some beautiful homes. Yeah, I mean, a visit typically, you never know when that visitor comes to town, whether they're looking to retire, start a small business, and we've seen some of that.
I could see why.
And it could lead. It's just a beautiful area to come and relax, and obviously we're very welcoming. And we're excited to have everybody come visit us.
Well, the reason why I ask is because a lot of times people that live specifically in Chicago, they go to, for example, Michigan and buy a summer home there. But this looks like a great place too, and maybe everybody doesn't know about it quite yet in terms of that.
Sure, and we have a lot of vacation rental properties that people have a second home, especially in Grafton, up in the Bluffs. There are several properties there, and yeah, it's a special place.
You sold it well, because I'm coming. I'm coming. You sold it. Yeah, you definitely sold it. All right, one last time, Corey, where can people go for the website?
So the best place is our website at riversandroutes.com.
All right, Corey Jobe, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for being with us. You just made me realize I need to check myself. I always say, let me ask you this, and you pointed it out to me. All right, thanks for being with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Chicago Bears fan, finally we have something to smile about after watching them beat the brakes off of the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. And here to talk to me about it is Fox 32 sports reporter Chris Kay, who's with us in the house. Chris, you're smiling. This is a good start to the week, right?
I mean, if you're a Bears fan, it's a fantastic start to the week. Not only did they win by 17, but you watch the Green Bay Packers lose in dramatic fashion to the Cleveland Browns at home. That's tough, but if you're a Bears fan, it's great for you.
It was really good. What did you think about Caleb Williams' performance? He tied his career high with 4 touchdown passes. And then this was really good for Coach Ben Johnson, too, getting his first win here with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think what we saw was Caleb opening up a little bit more, and I think Ben Johnson got to open up the playbook a little bit more. We saw the flea flicker obviously was a big play, but those are the kinds of plays that Ben just kind of has tucked in his playbook, and we haven't seen those the first couple of weeks, but we're starting to see them now because I feel like the trust with Caleb's getting there. It's getting where it needs to be, but also the confidence that Caleb has in this offense. And you saw a lot of it yesterday when I went back and kind of watched some of the film where he just looked comfortable. Obviously it helps when you're going up against the Dallas defense, which the pass rush isn't really their thing. Obviously they have Kenny Clark, who kind of was plugging the holes in the run game, but in the pass game they were able to get confident, they were able to get settled, and Caleb was looking really comfortable. And I think that's the big thing that we're going to start to see, and I think that's the thing that you need to see carrying over to next week too.
Yeah, I saw those first 2 back-to-back touchdowns, and I was like, am I really seeing this? You know, because I hate to say it, you know, as a Bears fan, sometimes you don't want to put all your eggs in a basket, but I was like, are my eyes deceiving me? And when I watched it play back, I'm like, no, they really did that. At what point when you were watching did you feel like the Bears are definitely going to win this? Because we have seen them have a really good start, and then it all drops out at the end.
Yeah, I think when you go back to the Minnesota game, you start thinking, when is a drop-off going to start to happen? And that's usually a thing with the new coaching staff. We saw that against Minnesota where in the second half, they just couldn't find any momentum. But I think right at the end of the third quarter, when he throws that 4th and goal touchdown to DJ Moore, you're like, okay, they have this. It's in the bag. They're going to win by multiple scores. And Dallas at that point just couldn't do anything on offense. And it's also a big testament to Dennis Allen, a guy that we were looking at, especially after last week, giving up 52 points to the Lions. We're thinking, well, is this really working? Is this scheme working? What needs to be better? But it all came together too. The pass rush with the coverage, with the linebackers, and every single level of the defense played well to the point where they were able to hold off Dallas, which, although 17 points doesn't really show, is a very good offensive team. Brian Schottenheimer is a really good offensive coach. So being able to do that, big for the Bears.
Let me ask you about momentum. Let me ask you. I just realized how much I say that, Chris. But anywho, when it comes to momentum, we watched that 65-yard touchdown to Luther Burden. Do you think like momentum played a key role in this? Like, because I know sometimes we talk about the Bears starting really good and then ending really bad. What did you think about the momentum in this game?
I thought that when it picked up with that long touchdown to Luther, I think that was the moment where the Bears are starting to be like, hey, like, when we start to open things up, we can make it work. But I think after that, Dallas did come and tie it up. They was 14-14, but I think at the end of the half, I think when you talk about situational football, that was the biggest thing. It played a little bit more of a factor than momentum, as we talked a lot about it through training camp, where they're thinking, hey, situational football at the end of half, going into the third quarter, there's that middle 8 span. It's the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, first 4 minutes of the third quarter. And the Bears won that this week. And I think that played dividends of not just momentum, but just confidence of like, hey, we can win this. And if we win this, then we're sitting pretty in the last second half of the game. But you don't get to that position unless you get big plays. And I think that big touchdown by Luther Burden, a flea flicker, which if you go back and you watch it, the pitch back from DeAndre Swift wasn't great. It was kind of a pop-up is what he told reporters after the game. And but Caleb was able to get it and just fire just a rope down the sidelines, and I think that's because the pass protection was great. It held up.
It was.
But also Luther's able to make a fantastic play. I mean, I've seen that when I was covering Mizzou. Luther's done that plenty of times, and he's going to keep doing that here in Chicago too.
What do you think the biggest challenge is for the Bears going into this next game?
It's always going to be about consistency, and I talked about this with a lot of players in the locker room last week as I was getting ready for this game, and they had those moments and those flashes of brilliance where you can see it put it all together, especially in the beginning of games where Ben Johnson's offense was scheming drives, the first 15 scripted plays or so. They look great. They look fantastic. You're kind of like, okay, now we're starting to see what this is supposed to look like. But after that, you got to find a way to keep it consistent. And I think the Bears are able to do that. And I think that's the key for next week, too, which is a Raiders team which yesterday got beat up by the Commanders 41-24. So they have a chance to really continue that momentum going into the bye week. And if you can find a way to bottle up that consistency and have it, especially not on the offensive line, but the defensive line as well, which had a really good game yesterday, I think that's what the Bears want to do, and that's priority number one going into the Vegas Raiders game.
I was looking at, a lot of haters out there, kind of stunned, I think a little shocked. And when I say haters, I'm talking about the Cowboys fans. They were a little shocked to see the Bears pull out this win. And some people were saying, oh, well, it was just luck. It was just an, off day for the Cowboys. What do you think? What do you think was really the consistency on the field that led the Bears to this win? If you could pinpoint maybe what you saw, you said you were talking to the players during the week. What appeared to be consistent with the Bears this time?
I think it was just the trust in the system and also the patience that they had. I think I was talking to Center Drew Dahlman about it, and before that I was talking to head offensive line coach Dan Rochar, and he was kind of saying, hey, like we see these flashes out of these guys, and when they're fundamentally sound, they're great, but it's all about staying there. And it's a tough game because you can't be fundamentally sound every single play, but you can do your best to try to make that the norm. And the Bears did that on Sunday. I think the offensive line didn't have a pre-snap penalty. That was a big thing. That's a big reason why they were able to sustain that momentum and also that offensive success throughout the game. And I think on defense too, when you're able to rush the passer and kind of confuse and kind of harangue the passer or the quarterback a little bit like that, then you're going to find success. And I think that's the point where you start to look back and think, okay, well, it's not luck because they went out and executed. And I think that patience is what was started to pay off because we saw it in the first two games. We saw some of the success, and obviously it was overshadowed by losses. But at this specific moment, you're like, hey, this is a game they needed to win, and they went out and win it.
Yeah, they did. And it was so, I don't know about you, but like being a Bears fan, just waking up in the morning after a win, it just feels different. And then when you run into other Bears fans, the conversation is different. Obviously, we had Chase Bandelick on our show. He was running every time they lost. I'm sure he was relieved as well. So it's just a different feeling when your team is winning.
Yeah, and especially yesterday, and I wrote about this last night too, where this is one of the most satisfying wins I think you could have had if you were a Bears fan. Not only did they beat the Cowboys, which is America's team, they beat them by 17, and they hung 31 points on their old head coach, the guy that, Chicago Bears fans don't revile Matt Eberflus the person. They just want to distance themselves away from the Matt Eberflus era. And I feel like this was a game that was able to accomplish all of that while also showing like, hey, we got something cooking here. The Bears do have something cooking here. And also when you go back and look at what the Lions were able to do last week, but also what the Vikings did yesterday too, like they look pretty good with a backup quarterback against the Bengals, where you have to start to think, hey, maybe that's a really good team. The Bears just didn't seal the deal when they should have. But that's okay, because now you're starting to learn a little bit more about what the Bears can do, what they need to do. And I think going into Monday, you're just kind of looking around like, you know what? I think it's going to be all right. I think Caleb Williams is going to be all right. I think the offensive line is going to be all right. Not to quote K-Dot a lot, but I mean, we're going to be all right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you think that maybe in part, because some of the players, they kind of know Eberflus, they kind of know his plays. Do you think that was an advantage here as well?
I think there's a little bit of that they understood the offense, they understood the defense, and how that kind of correlates a little bit. When you think about the coverage schemes that Eberflus ran last year, there's going to be some soft points in that defense. And I think Caleb Williams, who practiced against that defense all last year, kind of understood what to look for and what to do. But I also think that when I was, we're talking to players in the locker room kind of leading up with, because that was a storyline that was like, hey, you're going to face your old coach. What's that going to be like? A lot of players just kind of like, it'd be nice to see the guys. It'd be nice to see some old coaches say hi. But I think they just kind of left it as it was because of like, okay, we're moving on. It's a new era. It's new for everybody. And it is supposed to be new. And I think distancing themselves a little bit was kind of what helped especially. But I feel like that kind of played a little bit into yesterday's game too.
I agree. Okay, so here's my final question for you before we let you go. Prediction on a score next or this coming week? Is it this week?
Wow. Technically, yeah. They play the Raiders on Sunday, and I think it's a really good question because the Raiders look really good in the first week against the Patriots, but I think last week we started to see some of the cracks in that foundation there where they had a first-year head coach too.
10 seconds, Chris. Give me the score.
Give me Bears 24-21.
Perfect. Chris, you're always so fun. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, T. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll have you back, I'm sure, again. Chris, it's always a pleasure. All right, go Chicago Bears. We got some exciting things to talk about at the water cooler at work today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday edition of Chicago Now. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Next at noon, President Trump and top health officials are set to make a controversial announcement linking autism to acetaminophen use during pregnancy. Why this is already drawing criticism.
Community members in Uptown, they're demanding action to reopen Weiss Hospital, what they're now asking the owners to do before a critical deadline.
Taking a live look outside for you on this Monday. Cool.